All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new YouTube video. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can go from the national market to the international market as a coach or consultant. And it doesn't matter if you're in Denmark, Netherlands, Germany, Spain, Latin America, Italy, doesn't matter where you're from. You can do this from any national market that you're in and basically take these steps along with some topics I'm going to be covering here in order to move international. So I'm going to be covering 6 topics here in particular. So the first one's going to be streamlining your current business operations and really what you need to do in order to move international long term, and that you're not juggling both businesses all the time and you're becoming and creating your own constraint with that. Second, I think a really fun topic to dive into is the grass greener on the other side, right? That's usually with anything new or something that maybe you're comparing to. So I'm going to be covering that and the truths behind that. Obviously, there are some things that are better, but also things that are less good than if you are national. Current state of the international market and my observations. My general observations from helping people go international. I've worked with a lot of people from Denmark, Netherlands, Germany, like a lot of national countries, and I've got a lot of lessons that I'm going to be sharing with you too. The best international lead flow strategies in 2024. And then lastly, the best way to enter the international market if you are considering it. So first things first, let's talk about streamlining your current business operations. So look, if you want to move international, then one of the first things you need to do is you need to make sure that your team and your company, your systems are set up in a way where you are not spending too much time. And in order to get there, one of the core things that you're going to need is a team, right? So you're at least going to be needing a core team of a DM setter to book calls consistently, a good closer, COO, so someone that can do the operations, the tracking, and all the data, and work on the infrastructure and keep everyone organized. Head coach, right, to make sure your clients are getting consistent delivery and results. And then also a CSM if you do more than 100K per month consistently to make sure that the clients you're enrolling are still being checked up in on, that the quality of your delivery is still good while you are building this other muscle in a different market. Just really making sure you got that core team in place. Second, a consistent marketing and sales process, really, really important. With that, maintaining consistent lead flow through paid and organic, make sure your DM setters optimizing KPIs, booking the max amount of appointments possible, and leveraging all your organic assets. Because if this is inconsistent and you're moving international to also build a marketing and sales process, you're going to be burning a lot of money, and it doesn't have to be that way if you just decide first to put a proper team in place, have a good marketing and sales process, and then here making sure you've got good time management, right? And gradually transitioning to the international market. Because if you must be present at your business for more than 5 hours a day, you need to get it down to at least 2 to 3 hours a day max. And you have to understand too that this is a gradual process and isn't directly vital to be at that amount of hours if you're making a little start. But in my experience, if you don't want to get burnout, you want to continue to be creative and have freedom and do it in a smart way. Because maybe some of you are thinking like, oh well, I don't have any issue working that many hours. That's not really a flex, because especially if you want to work with or run 2 businesses, you got to be able to work leveraged and smart and not hard. Right? It's good you can do it. You'll need it at times, but it's not going to get your business to the heights you want it to be at. So that's number 1. Make sure you streamline your current business operations. Okay. Now, is the grass greener on the other side or is it not? Right? So I'm going to go to the pros and the cons of going international. Okay. So first one is that your TAM, total addressable market, significantly increases, right? If you're international, you can target the UK, US, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, like all these English-speaking countries, and even large parts of Europe of people also who speak English, right? I have many European clients that speak English. It might be B2C, it might be B2B, so your TAM increases significantly. Your access to growth strategies also increase, right? Because for example, Instagram shoutouts, if you go to let's say Entrepreneur's Quote. Entrepreneur, go to IG real quickly. Entrepreneurship. I'm going to show you guys what I mean here. Because there's one strategy that works really well internationally, which is, let's say, paying these pages right here. Let me ask you, right? Like, how much do you think it costs to get on the feed of this page, right? Some of you may say 500,000. It's literally $50. But you don't have a lot of the national pages be as big as it is and as targeted and as developed, right? So there's many strategies that start to open up for you once you move internationally. Also, your capability to grow brand fastens and increases, right? So you get a wider reach, you get more followers, you nurture more people at the same time, and so your brand grows faster, and because your TAM is also bigger. Your revenue ceiling at this point basically has no limit. Obviously, you know, there's always going to be like a business revenue ceiling, but there technically, if you look at the market and how big it is, there's basically no limit. Also, your access to talent in the international market increases. You can now hire more people that have a track record and, you know, have like a wider hiring pool. And you're also playing the long-term game of market positioning growth because you're in a wider and far bigger market than you currently are in, right? If you're national. So those are the pros. Now, the cons are that your competition for other similar companies grows, right? So if you've got an appointment center offer, competing versus me. And don't worry, I still want to help you. If you run a coaches offer, same thing. There's many people that do that. If you're in a closing offer, you know, almost every offer you've got out there internationally. And that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a con, directly and indirectly, that comes with it. Also, your ability to leverage blue ocean opportunity decreases, right? So let me show you one thing. One of my clients, Jaime Guerra, Jaime, if you're watching this, I hope I'm saying your name right, brother. I always call him Jamie. He doesn't like that. Jaime, he first was international, right? And he was doing like 200, 300K per month, great numbers. But he had like a little bit of a revenue ceiling, and I'm confident he could have also hit 500K to $1 million a month here. But, you know, as he was like, you know, also building a new offer, he took that national and he scaled to 1 million a month. And what I've observed among Jaime and other clients that I've got is that the strategies that work really well internationally are pretty much like red ocean. They don't work as well anymore internationally because everyone uses them. But because he's taken the strategies from international to national, in Spain to be like specific here, they work X10, right? It's a blue ocean because there's no big gurus like Jaime who have the competence that he does because he first started internationally. So he's done $1 million a month and he's still doing $1 million a month. We're still helping him get appointment setters. Obviously the dude's great looking and fit and smart and he's got all that stuff. So don't get me wrong, it's not like if you go to Spain, like you're gonna be a $1 million a month dude, but or lady. But you know, it's definitely helped him massively to go national, right? So that's something that usually decreases, right? It doesn't have to be, but usually does. Now, your ability to find talent is harder than it is national. Now, what I mean by this is that people internationally want the best opportunities. And if you're just starting out, you're going from national, maybe you're doing nationally like 150, 200K per month. If you're coming here, you're doing 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K per month, like you're not gonna attract A+ talent. Like people want 10K per month opportunities. Now, not everyone, but a lot of people do, okay? So that's one thing that you have to factor in. Also, you're starting from scratch and building an audience, which takes time. And then also which strategy you use makes or breaks it. So if you're growing on the wrong platform for 2 months and you're launching, you've just wasted 2 months of time, right? So you gotta make sure that your strategy is good. Now, the current state of the international market is that the trust is harder to earn and a personal brand is vital to success. And you also need a clear, gradual audience growth plan for success. Now, what I mean by that, if you wanna go international, like you should start today and in 3 months from now do a launch. But today you should be starting to build your audience. Let me show you an example. One of my clients, Kinson, he's killing it. He's gonna do 200, 300K per month in a very short time frame. He's in my mastermind, he's booked out. This is his launch week and he's kicking it off. And a little less than 2 months ago, he was at 1,000 followers. It's now at 61K. How? All he did was link his Instagram to his TikTok. And he grew with 60K in a little less than 2 months. I think 1.5 months even. So, you know, getting the right strategy is key. And the reason why I went here is because you want to start with a clear, gradual audience growth plan for success. And not for everyone, TikTok is going to work, right? But that's why, like, if you go international, it's important you understand which strategy works. I'm going to run you through a few. And I'll make a few recommendations. So with that being said, that is the second part of the current state of the international market. I'd say the third thing here is that you need to only enter it for the long-term game of it and not money, right? So I do see quite some people being attracted to it because they believe there's a lot more money in this market, and that is true, but that's not practically in the short term, especially not going to be the case, right? That's only going to be the case if you play the game long term and you build a personal brand and you're willing to be patient, right? To build up the audience, to establish the brand, and then with that grow the team and really treat it as a business and not something that's gonna throw money at you, right? Because it will, but not in the short term. And when I say short term, it's probably like gonna be the first, 1 year or something like that, or even 2. Depends upon what kind of an entrepreneur you are, but generally it just takes time. So that being said, buyers are also a lot more sophisticated than most national markets, right? So as I said with Jaime, in the Spanish market, there's a lot of people that have not really seen as many business opportunities as people in our international market are as exposed to as often. And that's why a lot of the strategies that work internationally work 10 times better nationally, right? Because the market isn't as quote unquote saturated or not even at all. So that's the current state. And now a couple of my observations here from helping people go international. So a couple of things I see on pros and cons here. So number one is that they grow their business with 40-50% in less than 6 months, right? After they first establish an audience for 2 to 3 months, right? That's an average. Now, this can take shorter, this can take longer. It really just depends on multiple factors. Second, they grow their brand a lot faster than the national market because, again, the total addressable market is far bigger. There's more growth strategies, and usually if you start off nationally, you want to go international, it means you're already taken a vast amount of experience into that venture, which means you can just use what's worked and take a lot of the principles that have worked for you, apply the international strategies, and then get that to work basically for you, okay? Because if you can find success nationally, you can 100% do that internationally too. But just don't put on too many expectations for yourself because that just doesn't really help. The third thing is they build a lot more of a valuable network, right? Because you got a lot of like big entrepreneurs here, big gurus, and there's a lot of like great people you can JV with, do podcasts with, network with, associate yourself with, and that also complements like the way you grow your brand, which means you also directly and indirectly grow your business. And I've got a lot of questions from people like Bass, where if you learn your English, I want to learn English better. And that's something that I thought was pretty funny to see and observe and add. Because you guys were wondering, like, I learned my English from playing a lot of video games in the past and just working with a lot of English clients. So just doing it has helped me a lot. I've never taken a course or something like that. Obviously, I've got some of the English that I know put up from school, but it's like 80-90% just video games and doing it myself. Now, let's go to the cons. So what I see too is people enter too prematurely, right? So let's say you are national, you want to go international, you already start to run ads next week, just hoping to make quick sales. I can guarantee you that's a surefire way to burn your money. So please don't do that because it doesn't have to be the case. Set the right expectations up, understand it takes time, and build the brand first, right? Because you got to be building an audience 2 to 3 months prior to a launch is my general advice. Not always, but general advice. Again, context matters, but in general, this is my advice. And then also what I see is people are juggling both businesses and it hits a ceiling because every time so the national market is here, this is the international goes up, and then the national takes like a little bit of a hit, so you got to go back, and then it kind of like goes like this, right? And it continues to be like that. And that's why it's important to take the first few steps of the video as serious as you can, implement them, and then only then go national. Now, the best international lead flow strategies. I'm going to say TikTok organic marketing. As I showed with Kinson, he literally just posts 3 times a day and he's grown his Instagram to like 60K followers in 1.5 months, or a little bit less than 2 months, something like that, but a very, very short time frame, okay? So TikTok organic is huge. Now, second one is Instagram page shout out. So that's basically what I showed you on the page, like this one, right? So if you are on this page, most people think like, again, it's very, very expensive. There's a lot of these pages where if you just go to entrepreneur, you type that in. This one too, this is probably a little bit more expensive, but still like $200 to get on this page is super, super cheap. And that's a great way to grow your account, to get posted on the feed, get yourself tagged, and then grow, right? It's not just exactly as I'm saying it is. the way it works to get results, but that's the premise of it, right? It takes more nuance and strategy than that. Instagram follower ads. So that's also a great strategy where you're basically running ads to your profile and then you basically get followers through that. You can get a $1 or $2 cost per follower, and then Instagram organic, but that's a pretty long-term play. All right, so Instagram organic basically just meaning that you go on, let me show you. So for example, this is my page, right? Internationally, I got 176K followers. 89% of this is like from shoutouts. And when I say Instagram organic growth, I basically just mean posting personable content about yourself that's interesting to your audience. And you know, reels like this can give you, well, this one just got 14 follows. We got some reels that give us up to like 100, some 500, some 1,000. But again, organic takes time, right? So, but it's a great way to grow. So these are the 4 best that I know work actively in the international market. And now if you want to enter the international market, here's my advice to you. Start by pre-building an audience with an organic, right? So I recommend TikTok and then paid strategy. So I recommend either follower ads or paid shoutouts, depending upon your budget. Then what I would make sure you do is that you get access to hiring pools through masterminds or other methods like maybe Facebook groups or other stuff. Then build up a waitlist and grow it to 200, 500 people. And then put a core team in place. So basically 1 setter, 1 closer, maybe someone on delivery, and launch. So that's how you can go national, or how you can go from national to the international market as a coach or consultant. If you'd like my personal help with it, there's a link in the description to book a call. I've helped many people go from national to international. And again, it doesn't matter what national country you're from. So with that being said, even if you're not looking to work together, I hope you got a lot of value from this video. And I'll be seeing you in the next one.